Am I the butthole for telling my sister she's the worst thing to ever happen to me and I hate her even if she's changed/gotten help? I, 31 female, don't like my sister Kate, 37 female. She treated me like crap as kids and it got worse as we got into middle/high school. Around that time, she started drinking/doing drugs. And when she was 17, she ran off to live with her party friends. From then to 22 she only called to ask for money. At 22, she fell off the earth and we didn't hear from her until at 25 she came home sobbing, looking strung out. She begged for forgiveness and swore to get clean. We felt bad and took her in. For a year she was better. She got a job and was going to the methadone clinic. One day Mom and I were visiting a family friend 8 hours away, and when we got home Kate and all her stuff, plus anything of value that wasn't nailed down, was gone. My laptop, our jewelry, TVs, DVD players, etc. An hour later Grandpa called and said his water was shut off. We went to check it out and found the cover by the street side water valve open and the meter inside shut off. Luckily, we checked inside before turning it back on because all the copper pipes had been stolen. It was obvious Kate robbed us all and skipped town. We called the cops to report it, but c'est la vie. A year later our grandpa died, leaving his things to Mom. He also left me some money. Sadly, Mom was a wreck the next 4 years before she passed of a heart attack. She left everything but $150, which she left to Kate, to me. I was destroyed after. If it weren't for my friends, I don't know what would have happened to me. During all this, Kate only called twice. Once a week after Mom died to see if she was left anything. I'll admit I screamed at her, and once a year later to ask for money. I hung up on her. She recently DM'd me and apologized for how she'd acted before/after Mom passed. Then she told me she hit rock bottom after our last call and OD'd and died for 3 minutes before being revived. She said it motivated her to get clean, stay clean in the years since. She wrote how she wanted to make things right between us and she didn't want to lose her last family member. I understand addiction is terrible, and just because you're an addict it doesn't make you evil/bad. And they deserve second chances too. But that being said, I hate Kate. I can't recall a single good memory with her. They're all bad. This is where I might be the I wrote her back and told her so. I said I'd send her the money Mom left her, but I wanted her out of my life, and as far as I was concerned I was an only child with no remaining blood family, and that she was honestly the worst thing to ever happen to me, and I wouldn't piss on her if she was on fire. I just said everything I'd bottled up for years. My friend said I was too harsh and could regret not trying to make amends. I could be wrong, maybe my anger and grief are clouding my judgment. I know people change and maybe I should be giving her another chance. So am I the butthole? Edit. Some people DM'd me and asked if Kate ever replied to my message. She did. And it's clear from it that she's just as crafty now as she was before the drugs, if not worse. I've blocked her on everything I could think of, and if she somehow manages to contact me again I'll get a restraining order on her. Not the butthole. It's great that Kate seems to be turning her life around. That doesn't mean you are obligated to forgive her or let her back into your life. I suggest you learn how to let go of your anger towards her for your own sake, but you don't owe her anything. Not to mention for a full year she earned their trust and then broke it after robbing their house, so although she may be turning her life around she is not trustworthy. Not the butthole original poster. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Not the butthole original poster. Your sister behaved awfully, and just because she's clean now, it doesn't mean she won't revert to kind. Fool me once, shame on. Shame on you, fool me. Fool me can't get fooled again. Lamau, I just looked this up and ended up going through some Bushism clips. I needed the laugh. Doesn't all of that seem so quaint now? Man. Bush, the Trailer Park Boy president. LOL, thank you for this. Personally for me it's fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, fool me a third time, F you. Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me chicken soup with rice. I love the Carole King musical of the Sendak books. We watched it all the time as kids. I'm going to go listen to the soundtrack. I'm hungry and right now chicken soup with rice sounds good. Fool me once, strike 1. Fool me twice. Strike 3. I was hoping someone would quote Michael Scott. Thank you. I was surprised to be the first, to be honest. Me too. She didn't just rob them, she robbed them. She didn't just take a few items of value, she took everything, including copper pipes. That is some next level thievery against her own family. That is extremely cold and calculated. There is no way she went from trying to be sober and then pulling that off on a whim. She may have started that year off with good intentions, but at some point, she fell off the wagon, hit it, and then waited until she could steal everything from them. It's great she seems to be getting her act together, but that level of crappiness perpetuated by her against her own family. It isn't easy to forgive, and even if you manage to, that doesn't mean that there would be a reason to trust her again or to let her into your life again. In fact, I wouldn't. If it had just been a few items she had stolen, it would be one thing, but the levels she took it to, and the fact that she didn't even care that her mother died except to see if she had an inheritance. Edited, bad grammar and weird typos. That's what I thought. This was premeditated and she had help. And she was an awful person to her sister before she became drug addicted, so there's not much wiggle room for her here. Exactly. It's harder to forgive someone who you didn't have a good relationship to begin with. The grandfather's copper pipes? Yes, I completely agree. She started using again, then she planned this crap with her garbage associates. Not the butthole, original poster. I hope you can heal. But also, doesn't methadone keep you from feeling addicted? Barring she wasn't able to afford it, wouldn't she have to consciously choose to use again? I used to work in a pharmacy. It's been over 10 years since I have, but I seem to recall there being some extra level of control with that. There were extra steps we had to take before giving it to the pharmacy technician, and they could only get a few days worth at a time. It's one of those weird drugs. It's designed to help people get off drugs, but yet addicts are known to sometimes abuse it, or they sell it to other people. Edit. Actually, I might be thinking of Suboxone. It's been a while and I am trying to remember which one we dealt with, if it was both or just one of them. Either way, my statement stands. Both are used to treat addiction, but addicts have been known to abuse them and only are allowed a few pills at a time because of it. Some people get tired of always having to get refills, and we know exactly why they are getting that particular thing. That is an addict thing to do when you are around other addicts. Stealing copper to sell. I do not think they would even get that much for that copper. It's like something out of The Wire when street addicts were stealing copper for a few bucks to sell to get more drugs. Before people get all high and mighty, do not assume you would not be like this if you got addicted to drugs. Do not assume it. I wonder what I would be like if I get addicted to drugs. Thanks for that. Obviously it's a horrible thing to do to your family after everything they've done for you, and original poster is not the butthole for not wanting to reconcile after all her sister has put her through, but people also need to keep in mind, as hard as it is, that being addicted literally changes how your brain functions on a basic level. Morality just doesn't enter into the equation at that point. The part of your brain that produces cravings for drugs is literally the same primal part that controls hunger and thirst, and when in the midst of intense craving you absolutely cannot focus on anything else. That doesn't excuse her actions or mean she shouldn't face consequences, it just means she didn't do it because she has no love for her family or to be cruel. Hopefully the sister can truly get clean long term and change her life, and maybe years from now they can reconnect after she's demonstrated she's really changed, if original poster wants that. But for now, original poster can't be blamed for not wanting anything to do with her. I just want people to keep in mind that the sister isn't an evil person necessarily. I will, however, point out original poster said the sister was crafty even before the drugs to her. Oh yeah, I missed that part actually. But in any case, she's still capable of changing, although it doesn't exactly look likely at this point. I mean, it sounds like she had some real issues. That may be part of what drove her to drugs and partying as an escape. There's always more to the story, but of course, that's still her problem to solve herself. She may not be evil, but just because you get clean doesn't mean that the crafty stuff you did goes away. I agree, which is why I said, that doesn't excuse her actions or mean she shouldn't face consequences. I feel like people are downvoting me without noticing I also said original poster was not the butthole. Op isn't being high and mighty and even says they know the behavior was due to addiction, but original poster is hurt deeply and emotionally. A lifetime of betrayal and hurt won't be lifted by a phone call. I've been addicted before. It takes a weak person to stoop low enough to steal, especially when you're stealing from the only people who really care about you. It's not a given though. I let a friend move in with me in an attempt to help her get clean. She had many opportunities to steal from me, but not a thing, not even money out of the loose change bucket I had, went missing, which had about 100 pounds of loose change in it. She was a drug addict but a decent person. Wasn't successful that time getting clean, but was a little further down the line, and now life completely turned round. I'd probably be a crap person if I got addicted to drugs too. Which is why I don't do any other drugs than the ones I have to take. Copper is pretty valuable actually. That's why they steal it. You could never trust this woman after that. The original poster is right to hate her, especially as the stress she caused likely affected her mother and grandfather's health. Whenever I read about something like this, I always wonder if the stress of what happened contributed to that early death. If so, she's definitely irredeemable and needs to live with the consequences of her choices. My mother has done it to our family like 5 or 6 times at this point. I cut contact and everyone thinks I'm the problem. You did the right thing. All your family is doing is enabling her. The best thing you can do is separate yourself from the situation and work on yourself. Don't expect her to get better as long as she has enablers. I'm so sorry. If you care to do so, you can direct them to AA specifically for family and friends of addicts. Stephen Hilton, husband of Laura Cleary, is also a great resource on Facebook and YouTube. Well said. She isn't worth any more anger. What we'll be telling is Kate's reaction to this. I'm no expert, but as I understand it, part of any 12-step program and most other sobriety programs is taking ownership of your past misdeeds and apologizing to the people you hurt. But the important thing is accepting that they may not forgive you or accept your apology. So if Kate replies accepting Op's anger and leaving the door open should original poster ever want to reconnect in future, then leaving her alone, I'd say that's a reasonable indication that she has begun to change. However, if Kate gets upset or goes to family about how she should be forgiven etc., then I'd think that was a big red flag that she hasn't changed. If she actually is turning her life around. Making amends is a fantastic way to make money when you're a junkie. I'd be very wary going forward, original poster. If she's getting better, good for her. If she's lying, again, then you don't want to be on her shopping list. Either way, protect yourself. Anger can also protect the original poster here. Keep the anger, ditch the sister. She is following a cycle. Get clean, rob up, start doing drugs, ask for forgiveness, and repeat. If I didn't know better, I'd say you were talking about my brother. He is on repeat 746,389 now. There is forgiving. However, forgiving and repentance do not automatically grant Kate absolution from consequences of her past actions. Kate can show true repentance, original poster can agree to forgive and move on. None of this changes the fact that Kate's actions severely hurt her family and there are real consequences to that which cannot be erased by a few, "I'm sorry" and "or I forgive you." I'm agreeing, by the way, that Kate isn't entitled to Op's forgiveness. I advocate for original poster to let go of anger and move on, and if it involves forgiving, then sure, but all of that is for Op's own well-being. This is about Op, not Kate. Kate already made her choices years ago and now has to deal with the consequences herself. Not the butthole, original poster. This is what I came to say, so thanks. Not the butthole, original poster. What original poster said isn't even the cruelest thing she could have said. At least, my first thought was something crueler than what she said. When my severely mentally ill mother tried telling me her mental illness absolved her of all her wrongdoings since she has meds now, I told her just because you didn't have control over your actions, doesn't mean they didn't have real effects on other people. I stand by that now as well. I go with not the butthole, but I also think this is above Reddit's pay grade. You should maybe talk to a professional because dealing with addiction in a family leaves a lot of scars. Some easier to see than others. Original poster replies. Yeah, I've been thinking about trying therapy for a while. Then life got in the way and I'd never gotten around to it. But I think I should book an appointment in the future. Therapy is like dentistry, it's not fun to talk about and might feel a bit embarrassing, but just about everybody could use some. Also, the first therapist may not work out just like your first dentist. May need to shop around to find someone who trust and feel comfortable going to. I honestly love going to my therapist. I feel better every time afterwards and it helped me so much. When something crappy happens, I often think, it's only 4 days until my next appointment. I'll feel better about this after I talk to her. I hate the dentist though. I love the dentist. I always get them to give me laughing gas. Put in one of my headphones and just enjoy the ride. I'm in Germany, we don't get laughing gas. At least I never got. It can also be painful and scary, but you come out much healthier. And no matter how uniquely awful you think your situation is, they've probably seen it more extreme. I love the dentist laughing out loud. Am I weird? Weird is okay. No harm in it, if it helps, great. If not, move on. Hey, FYI, my mom is the toughest human being you'll ever meet. She started therapy when she was about 55 years old, and she always says she should have started years before. It really helped her. Good luck. Family stuff can be awful. Everyone should go to therapy. I have a brother with similar issues and I've just started to uncover how his horrible behavior towards me has affected me in my life. Good therapy works and I wish you the best in your journey. Al-Anon meetings, not the same as AA, are free and are literally full of family, friends and other folks impacted by their loved ones' addictions. I recommend them all the time. It's therapeutic and nice to feel supported. You are very definitely not alone. If the first meeting you try isn't a good fit, try another one. Sometimes these groups are just as toxic as the reason you're there. If you don't want to pay, there are free support groups like Al-Anon and Naranon. Highly recommend therapy for anyone who grew up with family craziness. Even just talking through the events and having a neutral but trusted third party acknowledge how effed up that crap was is extremely healing. I completely agree. I am an alcoholic attempting recovery for the second time. Not only do I need therapy, my daughters do too. Because of my actions while actively drinking, my oldest daughter and her husband are VVVVVLC. It deeply saddens me, but I completely understand and don't blame them one bit. I wouldn't talk to me either. It will take me some time to build any kind of relationship, but progress is being made. I'll take what I can get. I am proud of you. Yep, my ex-best friend was like that and it was what eventually ended the friendship. She expected that because she can't help the fact she's mentally ill, I couldn't take issue or be affected by her illness. Your actions still have consequences. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.